With every passing second, our world beats to a rhythm unseen by most, yet relied upon by almost everyone. From the largest of cities to the smallest of villages, the heartbeat of our society is its critical infrastructure. From energy, clean water, and fuel, to communications, manufacturing, and enterprise technology, these global systems sustain the products and services we rely on for normalcy, safety, for our way of life day in, day out. At OpSWAT, it's our mission to protect and preserve this way of life from those who wish to hold it hostage, cause disruption, or to wipe it out entirely. For 20 years, we've been the first line of defense, protecting and securing critical assets from the plant floor to the top floor and everything in between. Our comprehensive platform for OT and IT is purpose-built, delivering a suite of products that integrate seamlessly across your critical infrastructure network to prevent known and zero-day threats, shielding you from attacks and cyber criminals.
Ladies and gentlemen, please grab your seats. We now have a short presentation on the topic, Dynatrace Davis AI-powered observability for financial services. Let's have on stage Sri Faisal Sheikh, Regional Director, Dynatrace. In his current role as sales leader for India West, he leads a team that helps its customers innovate faster, collaborate more efficiently, and deliver more value with less effort. Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. So as the demand for personalized banking increases, the customer lifetime value, also commonly known as the CLV, is becoming increasingly dependent on the digital technologies that we use today. Today, customers' loyalty or their behavior is no more central, but their digital experiences are driving their preferences. So keeping the CLV at the core, last year, Dynatrace commissioned a research study, and Coleman Parks, a leading global market research firm, carried out the survey with more than 1,300 CIOs and senior IT practitioners from the banking and financial services industries across the globe. And I would like to just present few of the interesting findings, the challenges those CIOs mentioned. The first one being, in the race to increase the CLV, with the adoption of newer technologies like Kubernetes, microservices, and massive increase in the digital touchpoint of the customer's journey today, 77% of the CIOs say that their environments change every minute, which is only adding to the complexity. 72% of the CIOs confirm that the cloud-native technology stack has created data explosion, which is beyond human ability to manage. Around 40% of the CIOs agree that some areas of their technology stacks are difficult to instrument or can't be monitored using the existing technologies. 69% of the CIOs said that traditional log analytics methodology is providing fewer answers. And to attract and retain skilled IT professionals is difficult, and it's a common problem across the globe. And 73% of the CIOs believe automation is a key to innovation and efficiency at scale. So Dynatrace is a leader in the world of observability. And it's the first choice for most of the leaders across banks, including India. Okay. And let me support my statement by sharing a story where Dynatrace partnered with a leading bank in India to not just help them reduce complexity, but also increase their customer lifetime value. For this, I would like to invite Aditya Ranjan, Senior Solution Engineer at Dynatrace, on the stage to share his experience with us, who was leading the technology conversations with the bank. Hey, thank you, Aditya, for agreeing to come on the stage.
Hi, Faisal. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon.
Hey, Aditya, like all established large financial organizations, all systems of this large bank, were always monitored. And in our initial conversations, you mentioned they had, 40 plus monitoring tools to monitor their applications, their network, security, etc., and all. So just walk us through the initial discussions you had with the technology team and later with the business team. What were their challenges then? What was their roadmap?
So, when we started talking to the technical teams, the first thing that became very evident for us was that almost each of these teams are tracking a different metric. They are evaluated on a different KPIs, and there's no common language which the team would actually talk to one another. On top of that, when we started talking to the business folks, they had a mandate that, one, the customer retention needs to be better year on year. On top of that, ultimately, banking is all about generating the revenue and making sure that you are able to facilitate the services faster. Because now it has become a really, really competitive market, right? Now, when we started working with them, we realized that there's an imbalance between the technical side and the business side that is there. So the business is not able to articulate the challenges that they are facing to the technology firms. And on top of that, the technology guys just do not understand how business is done in the Indian market, right? When Dynatrace actually moved in, the first thing that we did was we brought a singular language which could be understood by both the parties here. On top of that, we were not only talking about the different performance metrics that can be perfected over a period of time. We started talking the language of the business. So what is it that the customer is actually looking for when they come to you in order to be getting those business services that are there? Let's say if somebody wants to open a bank account, he would want a shorter turnaround time. Now he's actually going to be using a particular application. Now that application uptime is definitely important, but then it should also perform faster for him. And that's when, if you're able to do that straight through processing, something that would typically take a week can be brought down into a 48 hours of just getting the person's account up and running. And that is where Dynatrace brings in a value add. Ultimately, everything is just data. And how do I am going to be consuming that data? And if I'm able to make that context between the business and the IT KPIs that are there, that's where you will be able to take a judicious call as to where do I need to spend my time. And that's what Dynatrace brought for them. And that is where we were able to shorten the turnaround time of the banking releases that were there. On top of that, how that the different packages that they were creating, whether that is in demand, people are looking for it or not, that gave them the clarity.
Okay. So, Aditya, help me understand, how Dynatrace will help this bank in the next phase of their digital transformation.
Okay. I talked about that everything is data, right? And almost every panel member who has come on stage has talked about, how there's a data explosion that is happening. On top of that, we have also been talking about the artificial intelligence capabilities that are there. Now, whenever I go to any bank, and if I'm talking to a CTO or a CIO, they would basically tell me that they have already started consuming it when it comes to the customer satisfaction and the customer support that is there. Almost every bank now has got a chatbot which is up and running, which responds to the customer in real time, right? But apart from that, where the moment we start talking about the business of banking that is there, right? The data that is getting generated. And just before our session, Subbu talked about the fraud detection, right? That is where now we need to use AI if we can, shorten the turnaround time for the audits that are there. Because the audits are happening almost, monthly, quarterly, half-yearly, and annually, right? So that actually becomes a base for us to know what are those accounts and the lendings which can actually go into an NPA. That's where we can consume a data and that becomes relevant to the bank, right? On top of that, the customer scoring, that becomes in fact, it is the first step of the lending business that they are into. So they would be doing a CIBIL check, right?
Yeah.
So depending upon the amount of the financial propensity of the subject that is there, that data can actually be used to fine-tune the CIBIL score. And somebody can have a great CIBIL score when it comes to his lending for the home utilities or home loans that are there. But the same guy, if when he goes for an automobile lending, he's not able to sustain it, right? Because you also understand that automobiles have got a shorter turnaround time, whereas home loans, if you do, it's a longer investment that you are doing. So that's where we apply AI to consume the data that is getting generated. And these days, whenever I am talking to any banks, they are not only talking about the uptime of the application, right? They are talking about the data that gets generated, how do I consume it, and how do I create context. And with that, what has happened is that it has also opened a wormhole around the security. Applications are now getting architected in a different kind of manner, and the data is actually getting consumed in a different way. So what has now that led to is that is a particular application or the data getting exposed into the outer environment which is vulnerable or not, and how do I secure it? And trust me, banks always have been very upfront about the security. In fact, the data has always been very secured. But what we have also realized is that the kind of exposure of data that is happening in the open market, there are times that we don't even realize whether it is secured or not. And that is where a tool like Dynatrace, applying the artificial intelligence, tells you in real time that the data has got vulnerability or not, or the data has got exposure. Take Log4j for an example. It existed for over a decade and nobody knew about it, that how the data is actually getting exploited there. Now, when Dynatrace or a tool like Dynatrace that gets introduced, it tells you that that particular data, whether it is available for consumption over the public forum or even internally, it is available as like a plain text, right? It is not getting encrypted. So that is where the value add that Dynatrace brings in is that it looks at the ecosystem holistically, and then what it tries to do is it tries to create a context, and the use cases can be consumed by the technical teams, it can be consumed by the business teams, or you could be using it for different strategies that you are going to be implementing over a period of time. So let's say if you want to introduce a newer product into the market, and you want to keep a check whether this product is going to be successful or not, Dynatrace will help you there.
Oh, thank you, Aditya, for sharing that experience. I think my time is up, but lastly, I would want to thank you all and request we have a booth outside. Please come down, spend some time with the Dynatrace team, try and understand how we are trying to help the banks across the globe to solve a lot of their problems, and not just that, turn around time faster to go to the market. Thank you.